so far this seems to be the month where I'm going to struggle to figure out what I'm reading. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew, and today we're going to be doing the mid-month wrap-up. But before we get into that, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel grow, and you can check the description box down below for links to all of my social media, including information about the Discord, my Patreon, Amazon wishlist, what have you. Now, we are about halfway through December, and I hope you're all having a wonderful holiday season, and you're kind of getting in the mood if you celebrate, and that the rest of the year kind of ends out very well for you. For me personally, I have been bouncing all over the place. Now, before we get into that, of course, you can notice different background. This is a brand new shelf. I built this within the last week. You can see my wandering in frying pan right there. So I've got a lot more holes. I've got a little bit more space, about 6 shelves. This is what I mean by a shelf. Just 6 of these, 6 more of those that I can kind of fill in space with, and kind of give myself a breathing room for about 3 months, because you know how I haul books. But yeah, I'm very happy with the new setup, but of course I'm no longer in the corner. I'm now on a flat surface. In fact, if I move just a hair, you can see the edge of that shelf. Now let's bring you right on back over. Hopefully I haven't messed anything up too bad. But let's talk about the books that I have been reading. So I read The Spirit Thief, which is the first book in Eli Monpress. And I fell in love with Eli Monpress as a character. It took everything that I loved about Michael J. Sullivan's writing and everything that I loved from Scott Lynch's writing and brought it together and created this wonderful masterpiece of a story. This is an omnibus bind-up, so this is the first 3 books of 5. And I've got that right there that I've already read. This is Spirit Thief right there, so it's relatively short. And it was fun, it was inventive, everything's kind of got like spirits that like wizards can kind of interact with. And I really loved the tone and the fun that was in this first story. So much so that I'm going to be getting books 4 and 5. There's a fantasy western that Rachel Aaron does. And then she's also got Heartstrikers series that I'm going to be picking up. I've already added them to my wish list so I don't forget to buy those. I know somebody who's already read Heartstrikers and they had a great time. So I am full on the Rachel Aaron Express because that Monpress was just so fantastic that I want to experience more of her writing. And let's kind of see if we can't straighten up a little bit. There we go. I don't know, it bugs me a little bit. Okay, perfect. I think we're good. Then I did a sad one. I've told you I was bouncing around, and I'll show you everything I was bouncing around with. And I was struggling, and I was like, what do I want to read? And I decided I want to read Ray Bradbury. So I did The Martian Chronicles, which was written in the 1950s, shortly after the discovery of like nuclear weapons and stuff like that. And I can only imagine Ray Bradbury's mindset and what he thought was going to become of the human race as he was writing this. It's a very good, but it's also incredibly depressing. But it was also really interesting because it was my first kind of classic sci-fi. And what I mean by classic sci-fi is like, I don't know if it's like Silver Age or Golden Age, whatever, but it was like when sci-fi was more about ideas than about cool science and laser guns. It was like, I mean, it was so ludicrous that like all of the science in this book, in Martian Chronicles, is disproven. Like, it's just not possible to do what he's doing. And it never was possible to do what he's doing in the Martian Chronicles. Excuse me. But it was fantastic. And it was beautifully written. And it made me sad. But I did enjoy it. I gave it about 4 stars. Eli Monpress was probably the first 5-star read I've had in a while. Whew, having trouble speaking. Then, of course, I read The Second Sect by Tao Wong. This is book 5 in 1,000 Li. And, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. This kind of seems to be picking up after book 4. We're kind of resolving some events that happened at the end of book 4. I can't really talk about this one without being super spoilery, so I'm not going to, other than the fact that I'm still enjoying it. It's another 4-star read. I understand that there is a small time jump after this book, so from between books 5 and 6, there's a 2-year time jump from what I've been made to understand. And I'm fine with that because where we end off here, Wu Ying has a lot of growing to do, and I'm kind of curious to see where we are after 2 years. All right, we're going to put that right there. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way, do you like the standing or do you like the sitting? Like, because you can kind of see the top of the shelf, and normally you can't see that. Like, you can see my Beatles Blue Meanie mug. If you're wondering what this horrific thing is, it's from the Yellow Submarine movie from the Beatles. So that's what they're right there. I got that at Vegas. Because I went to Vegas and I saw the Love show that they do, and they had that in the gift shop. That was like years ago. Anyway, I don't think I've ever shown it on camera, but the thing is horrifying, but I love it. I can't get enough of it. Okay, what else did I read? I read Lesser Devil, which is Christopher Rocchio's Sun Eater 1.5. I had read all the way through Demon in White, and then I needed to read a Sun Eater because the Discord was doing a Make Them Out reads. Now, initially, I was going to do Kingdoms of Death, but then I knew that the way Kingdoms of Death end, I've been warned that I'm going to want to be able to immediately jump into Ashes of Man, and I wasn't going to be able to do that this month. I don't know how it ends. I only know that the people I do know who have read it were like, you need to make sure you're ready to go on Ashes of Man immediately or you're not going to be okay. I'm like, okay, well, you're scaring me. And I was like, well, what can I read? And then I realized I haven't read The Lesser Devil. I literally saw that Daniel Green had read it, and it reminded me that I was like, oh, that's one I still need to read. And it was about 200 pages, and I really, really enjoyed it. We kind of go all the way back. We follow Hadrian's brother, Crispin, there we go. I think it's Crispin. And I really enjoyed this one. It took some roots that I wasn't quite expecting, and it kind of follows like what happens to cultures and religions as time goes on. Like, if we're 8,000 years removed from Earth, what happens to the Christian faith? What happens to Catholicism? What happens to Hinduism? What happens to these religions that are so important to our world and to us as individuals today? And it kind of addresses that question. And it was very, very interesting, especially because it's handled, I think, beautifully. So yes, masterwork there. And then I believe, there's one more. I read Arc of Ascension by Michael R. School Thesis. And I really, really enjoyed this one. This was my first Michael R. School Thesis. It is a space opera. And it was fun. It was short. It was to the point. There's action. There's like transforming technology and like ancient extinct civilizations. There's other planets. There's like space yachts. There's gunfights. There's all sorts of great stuff in this book. I really had a lot of fun with it. I do have his Altar of My Fate that I still need to get to, but I can safely say I am going to be reading more Michael R. School Thesis, especially after Arc of Ascension. Then that's everything that I've completed so far this month. What I'm currently reading is Gloves of Aeons by Andrew D. Meredith. I just finished part 1 last night, so I'm about 12% into this book, and I'm having a great time reading it. I always love Andrew's writing. If you haven't started Collation and you like classic kind of noble, bright fantasy, you're missing out if you haven't started reading that yet, so get on it! And then I'm also listening, narrated by Ralph Lister, John Bierce's last Mage Errant book, The Last Echo of the Lord of Bells. And this one I am both liking and I'm frustrated with, because it's the longest book in the series, I think, and it's longer by far, and there's just so much action that I'm not a huge action-based reader. So there's so much magical battle going on that I'm just kind of like, can I finish the book now? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying everything that's on the page. It's just nothing in the series prepared me for how long this book was going to be, and I'm just kind of ready for like, okay, what's gonna happen? Can we resolve it? And I'm almost there. We're getting close. We're getting close to the end of the book. I think I'm about 70% done with that at this current time. And then after I'm done with Andrew D. Meredith's book, I will be jumping back into To Ride Hell's Chasm. I've so far tried to read this 3 times this month, and my brain has gone ooh squirrel. I am very, very much all over the place. This stack of books is going to prove the point. I have been trying to just find something that was going to tickle my brain and make me want to read it. So I read a few pages of Look of a King by Tom Dumbrell, and I really enjoyed it. And then I got distracted. ADHD brain went, go look over there. So again, I am still very much looking forward to reading this. It's just my brain went, maybe not right now. I did the same thing with The Great Migration by Steve Ramirez. This is one I definitely want to check out. But it opens with like a bunch of mutilated bodies, like page 1, and I was like, oh, maybe not right now. So we're going to give that one another go. I then got to, I was provided a review copy, not only physically, but on audio, of T.J. Lombardi's The God King Emmanuel Saga, and this is Dying Breed Hunters. I believe that narrator is Tim Cox, and he reminded me like a lot of Andrew D. Meredith's narration, which has me very excited. I got through the first chapter of that one, and then my brain went, maybe something else. And then, of course, I got about 5% into Boo Ludlow's. Boo Ludlow? Did I say that right? Ludlow. Boo Ludlow. I'm going to go with Boo Ludlow. The Failed Technomancer. And this is Robot Apocalypse Book 1. And actually, of the 5% I read, I was invested. I was ready to go. And then I just like went to bed one night. I was very excited to continue reading. I woke up the next morning and I was just like, oh no, it's gone. My brain is just... the mood reading brain has just kind of grabbed a hold of me and wrenched me back, and it's just like, read what your brain wants. And so sadly, like quite literally, I was excited when I went to bed, and when I woke up, I was just like, oh, and I couldn't dive right back into it. So hopefully I can come back to this one soon, because what I read was very interesting and very cool. So honestly, if you're wanting some like horror, sci-fi, apocalyptic with robots and all that, this one's one to check out. It's really good read. I just quite literally, my brain just flicked a switch with zero prompting. It was nothing in the book. It was everything going on right here with my reading mood. But hopefully that can calm down here soon and I can get back to these amazing books. But that is the first half of my month. Let me know how the first half of your month has gone. And that's all I really got for you today, guys. So till next time, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.